CJ McCollum is that guy, and he's put the Hawks in firm control of this series. Amazing first quarter for the Hawks. Very slow start for both teams initially, with Atlanta letting the Knicks put them into a lot of late shot clock situations, which is always going to lead to lower percentage shots. Once they started moving the ball around more, everything kind of opened up. They started clicking offensively. Those last 5 minutes of the first really belonged to the Hawks, with them pushing tempo and creating great looks while playing very aggressive on-ball defense to make things tough on the Knicks. Hawks are seeing instant impact off the bench, with Kuminga starting the game very hot and Gabe Vincent and Mo Gate chipping in as well. The only two guys keeping the Knicks afloat in that first quarter were Brunson and Anunoby, who are the only two Knicks to even score in those opening 12 minutes. Atlanta just stayed hot in the second. CJ McCollum has been the best player in this series thus far and just keeps on proving it. The Knicks did have that big run to end the half that did keep them within arm's reach heading into halftime. Hawks had an opportunity to really break the game open midway through the second, but their shots stopped falling and the defensive pressure wasn't quite what it had been previously, so the Knicks did get back into the game heading into that second half. Through the first half, neither Cat nor Alexander Walker was nearly as effective as you would expect them to be. Cat has been better throughout the series as a whole, still not up to the level it required of him though for the Knicks to reach that next level, and Alexander Walker really had yet to arrive to the series through the first 2.5 games. He did have a better second half in Game 3, still not quite up to the level Atlanta wants him at, but things are trending in the right direction, which is very promising, and the Hawks have more than made up for it with McCollum's dominance and Kuminga's production off the bench. Like always in this series, Cat started to come alive in the third. He's been waiting until the second half to do that all series long, and I don't really understand why. I don't think that's the game plan for the Knicks, but it really does feel like it in an odd way, just because it always feels like one of those first few possessions for New York is just going to be a Cat ISO where he's usually getting to the rim and really just putting some pressure on the paint. I don't see why he couldn't be doing that in the first half as well. Atlanta doesn't have a great answer to it, not at this point in the series at least. But again, for some reason in the first half, Cat just isn't looking to get his shot in that way, which is very disappointing for the Knicks. They could have won Game 2 if Cat had just been aggressive all game long. In that third quarter, neither team was looking too great on offense. Atlanta did do just enough, though, to fend the Knicks off and maintain a decent lead heading into the fourth, which was the most important quarter of the series thus far. Really crucial game for Atlanta to come away with. If they had gone down 2-1, they still have a chance in the series, seeing as the next game is still in Atlanta. But by going up 2-1 with another home game ahead, if they can go up 3-1, the Knicks are all but out of this series. I really doubt that New York has the mental fortitude to break out of that 3-1 deficit. So if Atlanta can win Game 4, they really can put this thing away. So this game was a massive win for them. Aside from a brief stint in the second quarter, New York's bench has been pretty much completely ineffective in the few minutes they've been given, with the one exception being Deuce McBride. The Knicks have been notorious for having one of the worst benches in the league, and certainly of any supposed contender since this core was assembled. But it's been even more apparent this series just how little trust the coaching staff has in them when comparing them to Atlanta, who's been getting steady production from the bench all series long, which I did see as being one of the big determining factors for the outcome of the series coming into this matchup, but I didn't necessarily anticipate it coming into play so immediately. While the Knicks starters should still have fresh legs and be able to handle the massive minutes required of them, but the starters are already looking a bit gassed. We saw Mikal Bridges have an awful game last night, so Mike Brown is going to potentially need to turn to the bench a little bit more. But that is an issue for the Knicks, as Deuce McBride is really the only guy that has proven his capability as a bench player. Jose Alvarado has had his moments, but nothing in the playoffs. He doesn't really have that playoff experience, and I don't see him getting onto the floor much against a Hawks team that is just going to run him off the floor, take advantage of him on defense in a similar way to Jalen Brunson. This was the Hawks' game to lose heading into the fourth, and they did come very close to doing exactly that. Knicks shot it lights out from 3 in the fourth. Atlanta was playing some very sloppy basketball. OG was doing his best to make up for his missed free throws from game 2, and Jalen Brunson did come very close to bringing the Knicks home before he wasted their second chance on their second last possession and couldn't pull anything together on the last possession of the game. I don't really blame Brunson for that. It is a whole team collapse from the Knicks. He has still been by far their best player in the series. It is just unfortunate for the Knicks, seeing as Brunson is one of the most clutch players in the league, for him to come up completely empty on those last 2 possessions. For the Hawks, CJ McCollum has really been the guy to step up and lead them through these first 3 games. He's been the guy to take charge in the clutch in both of their wins, and Atlanta is now on the cusp of putting New York in a 3-1 deficit. All the while, Jalen Johnson and Nickeil Alexander-Walker still haven't played anywhere near their best basketball. If they can really come out hot in game 4, Atlanta might be able to put it out of reach early and really just demoralize the Knicks, heading back to MSG for what could end up being an elimination game. Another guy that has been producing at a great rate for Atlanta is Kuminga. He's felt like a 6th starter for the Hawks. He still has his moments where he takes questionable shots and only has eyes for the rim, but for the most part, he has bought into his role here in Atlanta, and they don't win either of these games without him on the floor during some key minutes. So great games for Kuminga. He really has unleashed his potential since being traded from Golden State. That is a great pickup for Atlanta. They really did have one of the most successful trade deadlines in the league. They picked up Kuminga and CJ McCollum, both guys who have been leading them to these first 2 wins. Atlanta's lack of playoff experience did almost expose them down the stretch, but they did just enough to hold it together and executed perfectly on the final possession of the game by not even letting the Knicks get up a shot. So with them now up 2-1, they have all the momentum in the series. New York is very clearly rattled. The Knicks aren't out of this yet. The Hawks would be foolish to think that they are, but I do think that Quinn Snyder is going to be able to impress the importance of still playing each game like it's a must-win into his guys, and for that reason, I do think that the Hawks will completely upset. I have this one ending in 6.